BoogeyMan band coming round the bend. Is BoogeyMan band. Is BoogeyMan band.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. This is a requested video by my good friend Christopher Smith. This is something I've been promising Christopher for a while now. It was a film that I found out about through not only Christopher but also Chris Stuckman, who's a really well-known upcoming director as well as a well-known YouTuber. I've been watching Chris Stuckman for years. Don't always agree with him, but I respect the man immensely. Last March, he did a review of this movie called The Empty Man. The movie was directed by David Pryor, and it was pretty much dumped into movie theaters in October of 2020 during the height of the COVID pandemic. It came out on October 23rd of 2020 with no fanfare, from my understanding, just from Chris Stuckman's video about it, which I will link below if people want to see something a little bit more in depth about the movie. The trailer was kind of cut at the last minute. The movie was just kind of unceremoniously shoved into theaters. This was actually the last film to feature the 20th Century Fox logo, and the movie died a slow death, and to this day has still never been released on any physical media. It is only available through streaming. That's how I saw it. I ended up just buying the film back in March, and I've watched it about 4 times since then, all the way through. I've watched sort of clips of it, getting ready for this review, just to refresh my memory of it, and I'm really excited to share my thoughts on it today. On the trail of a missing girl, an ex-cop comes across a secretive group attempting to summon a terrifying supernatural entity. Movie stars James Badge Dale as James La Sombra, Marion Ireland as Nora Quayle, Sasha Furlova as Amanda Quayle, Samantha Logan as Devara Walsh, Ron Canada as Detective Villers, and Stephen Root as Arthur Parsons. The movie is based on the Boom Studios graphic novel by Cullen Bunn. Screen story and screenwriting credits go to David Pryor, who also directed the film. Now, James Badge Dale is an actor I'm familiar with. I've seen him on shows like 24. I've seen him in Iron Man 3, The Departed. Great actor. Stephen Root, I've seen in tons of things, from, comedy like Dodgeball to very chilling performances like the one he played in Get Out. This film seemed interesting, and I really liked the ambiguousness of it. It is a slow burn that it's over 2 hours long. There are some things in the film that don't make sense, and you'll have to go back and watch it to see if you pick up on things. There's a lot of little Easter eggs and things that you can pick up on as you watch it. I think the thing I loved about this film is that it's atmospheric. It's very chilling, and it feels very bleak. You have this 20-minute opening that takes place like 23 years before the actual story before the actual title comes up, and that reminded me of the 13th remake from 2009. This movie is very creepy, and like I said, it is very ambiguous. There are things that don't make sense. But as you watch it again and again, you'll start to pick up on more things, and I've picked up on other things that I wasn't catching the first time I watched, even the second time I watched. One thing, I don't want to give anything away. I want people to experience this film. I think it's very unfortunate the way that this film was just kind of unceremoniously dumped in theaters, especially during the pandemic when not a lot was playing in theaters and people were too scared to go to theaters. A lot of theaters weren't open even in October of 2020. They had opened for a brief period of time or limited, and then they closed down again, especially when cases of COVID started spiking again during the fall and winter months. This is the kind of movie that I miss, and like I said, with a lot of the stuff that's in theaters, and we're inundated with movies now because studios are taking advantage of streaming sites like Netflix and Apple TV and Hulu. A lot of times there's no fanfare, they're just put out there, and sometimes you can come across some gems. Clean is one that I came across. I saw that it was going to be out limited, and that's a movie I just did a review on recently with Adrian Brody that came out earlier this year, very limited capacity. But there's not a lot of people talking about it, not even reviewers on YouTube. And one thing I respected about Chris Stuckman was kind of trying to get people behind this film, at least to check this film out and not just sort of shuffle it off like it's another kind of, like the creepypasta, the Slender Man movie, which was god-awful. I couldn't even get through it. This film, a lot of time was put into this film. I also thought James Badge Dale's character is very compelling. He's this very tortured man, having lost his family, and then gets wrapped up in this whole thing where these group of kids go missing. And it's really, there's some really chilling moments in this. And again, it's what I've talked about in some of my Salem's Lot Quiet Little tribute segments, building tension. And like I said, I think a lot of mainstream directors don't know how to do that anymore because they're so scared of losing their audience, and audiences are just so like, they want that. It's almost like the punchline without the joke. That's what I consider it, and I feel like that's just consistent with a lot of movies that are coming out now. Now there's some great films that came out in 2022, but I can see that like a lot of time and a lot of effort was put into this film to make something special. And the fact that the studio wasn't behind it, they kind of flung it out when nobody was really going to the movies, and it just sort of died a slow death and has never made its way to any type of media release. No Blu-ray, no DVD, nothing. It's just only on streaming. I just bought it off of iTunes and watched it that way. And the more that I watch the film, the more I like it. It's one of those ones that you kind of have to just put your expectations aside and just let the storyteller take you on a journey. And you're either going to like the journey or you're not, but at least you're going to give it a chance. And I think that's what a lot of people aren't willing to do anymore. I don't think studios are willing to do it, and I don't think a lot of moviegoers are. They want the same thing over and over again. Listen to how many people complained about the ending to Halloween Ends. Whether you like the film or not, I appreciate Halloween Ends because it did something different. It might not have worked for everyone, but it did something different. It challenged its audience. How many times can you see the same thing over and over again? I'm getting to an age where, you know, I've seen great films in my lifetime. I'm almost half a century old. I'm going to be 50 in a year and a half. And I think about that and I go, I'm tired of seeing the same things play out over and over again. I want to see something new. I want to have new experiences when I go to the movies. I don't want to see the same movie over and over again. That's why I appreciate Halloween Ends. That's why I appreciate The Empty Man. Now, The Empty Man is not my favorite movie, but I so appreciate what went into it. I appreciate the hard work from writer-director David Pryor for crafting something that you're kind of like going, where is this going? What's going to happen? And again, there's moments in this that are ambiguous. There's still things that I'm figuring out as I've watched it, you know, a handful of times and still don't feel like I have all the answers, but I feel like I'm getting more and more, I'm getting more information each time I decide to revisit this film. And I feel like that's what you want in a film. You want something to be repeat viewing. You want to go back and say, God, this film, I can't get this film out of my head, but this doesn't make sense. So go back and try to figure it out. And that's what just makes the film and storytelling so compelling for me. And I can't recommend people checking out The Empty Man enough. If you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of, something that's going to take you on a journey, that's going to challenge you instead of just presenting a bunch of jump scares and sort of one-note characters, please give this film a chance. It is on streaming. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. You can buy it off of iTunes like I did. I'm definitely going to be giving The Empty Man 4.5 stars. So that is it, my fellow fiends. That is my critique, less of a review because I don't want to give too many things away, but just my critique, my overview, without spoilers, of The Empty Man. Again, thank you to my friend Christopher Smith for making me aware of it. Also, thank you to Chris Stuckman for putting this out there for horror fans to support films like this. These films that a lot of time and effort go into, and like I said, they're forgotten for the cut and paste, staple of just putting out the same stuff over and over in Hollywood. And I love a filmmaker and a storyteller that challenges me, that gives me something different, something I'm not expecting. That's why I appreciated the new Halloween film, and that's why I really appreciate The Empty Man. Check it out. I'll also put a link down below to Chris Stuckman's review of the film. Thank you so much again for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Just want to say thank you again for supporting BoogeyMan Ben's Horror Zone. If you're brand new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I typically do this once or twice a week with new content. I've been doing this for over 11 years, and the horror genre is a passion of mine, and it really means a lot to me that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again later. Take it easy. Stay scared as always.